Black students who have a Black teacher in kindergarten through 3rd grade are 13% more likely to graduate high school and 19% more likely to graduate college. That's a huge number. And so when looking at that with just one teacher, imagine if that student were to have 2 Black teachers or 3. Part of my work that I do and the goal of our program is to increase those numbers so that way students aren't waiting to have a Black teacher all the way when they get to high school or college.
Black teachers are just in such limited numbers in our county, in our state, and in our country. I think we all know it. But what we don't understand is just how powerful it is for a Black child to walk into a classroom and have a Black teacher. That's transformative for that kid. But even more so, right, I think even more importantly, is that it's important to have Black teachers in front of every child in our county, every child in our state and in our country.
I believe it's also important to have African American teachers in not just primarily African American classrooms, but classrooms in general. The whole idea is that you really want the classroom to mimic the world. The students should be able to see that mixture of different cultures that are represented in the classroom, because that's exactly what they're going to see when they get into the outside world.
So we have a shortage of teachers, but specifically of Black teachers, both within elementary, in our middle schools, and our high schools. And so what that causes is a lack of representation. It also causes students to have a lack of connection. What we're trying to do is to remedy that by recruiting more Black teachers, both within our community here in the IE as well as outside of the IE, working across California, within other states, looking at models of where they're successfully getting more Black teachers.
The main goal for this program is to increase the Black teacher population in our community. You know, the program itself is going to be focused on not only supporting them on the educational trajectory, but also financially. We want to ensure that we provide some financial opportunities for them.
Part of the work that I do is to rebuild and reestablish our Black teacher pipeline, which we know was disrupted heavily with the Brown versus Board of Education. We haven't necessarily recovered. And so here in the IE, there are certain other programs, nonprofits that are doing this kind of work, but people aren't connected, and so that means that there's a lapse in the network. Ultimately, what I would love for people to do is, number one, to bring more awareness to the fact that there's a teacher education program here at UCR. Not only that, but that this teacher education program is building and rebuilding a Black teacher pipeline. And that if you have a student, if you know a student, if you are the student who's possibly interested, you're hesitant to ask or come get information, because a lot of our students are also first gen, please come ask, please come connect. Even if you maybe don't end up on the teaching pathway and you end up doing something else in education, getting information is one of the best things that you can do as a student or as a parent, because I'm also a parent. And so if your child expresses interest in teaching, or you're thinking about possibly exploring that, come and talk to us, come and attend an information session, come connect with me personally, as well as with our campus, because oftentimes when we're talking about students from the Black community, even families from the Black community, college seems very far off.
You know, the School of Education's mission, our mission, is to really transform the Inland Empire by using education as this tool of democracy, this tool of opportunity, a tool of just opening up the vision that young people have for themselves. So what the Black Teacher Pipeline does is that it gives young people a different vision of who they can be. Right? When a young Black kid walks into a classroom and they finally have a Black teacher, it opens up for them a new vision of who they can be. Like a new vision of what their society can be, that I can be that teacher, or I can be whatever that teacher is inspiring me to be.
The other great thing about UCR and about coming here is that we have a lot of resources, and that's really important for students when you're trying to get to the goal of graduation. Whether that's the ethnic and gender offices, we have other resources that we help students with basic needs, the care office. All of those resources are important to our students being able to get to graduation, because once we get you here, you're here, but it's also, how am I going to be supported when I'm here? Student parents, working students, everyone has different needs. And so the great thing about UCR is that we have multiple options to help you get support with those needs. And here within the SOE to become a great teacher.